Hello. Where you going, old man? Excuse me if I sniffle a lot. My nose has been running like mad. How you doing? Ugh. There, that's better. Oh, I managed to fish my dropper out of the thinner bottle, too. Making sure the airbrush is ready for this. Could have done that yesterday, but nah. It's not fun if I don't have troubles, right? Ugh. What, Marmar? I can hear you meowing at me back there. What? Will you let him eat and just stop rolling around on the floor in front of him? Strange cat. Gotta get my needle travel working properly or else this is not gonna be good. There we go. Supposedly there's thunderstorms coming in this afternoon. We'll see about that. I really should get a dropper of oil for this. For the back, but I'll worry about that tomorrow. Hey, Major Havoc's here. That's good. Glad you enjoyed your vacation. You ever see the movie Dreamcatcher, Alex? Similar scenario to that, eh? Just without the alien fungus. Maybe I should have done sub-assemblies as I went along. Oh well, too late now. I had to make sure everything lined up, and I would have screwed up a lot if I hadn't. All the handling to get everything lined up and glued properly would have really screwed up the paint anyway. So, better to fight it like this. So, starting in October, we're going to build this guy. Or, I have a second one on the way. It's the cargo soft top. Sounds like being deployed. Oh, wait. How you doing, George? Welcome to the channel. So, somebody on YouTube tried tagging the short that I had this in where I was showing the progress. Alright, no worries. But I was showing the progress on this on the shorts on YouTube. Somebody tried tagging it as AI. Hey, Davos. Yeah, go to the short for this on my YouTube channel. And the comment might be... I didn't hide it, but it might not be showing. I don't know why. I had to uncover it myself. But the person just put AI. I'm like, no, I'll be painting it live. Well, I'm also on Kick, so... I know I hate plugging like this, but it would really help. If you want to support the stream better and know that the streamer gets a higher return, we're on Kick. So And yeah, I've seen that their return is much better firsthand because somebody, not saying who, did a sub bomb. And for the amount of subs, I got 3 times more back than I would have off Twitch, so. Okay. I think I've got most of that covered well enough, considering it's going to get dusted with an earth color later. So let's let that dry. Just, I have a feeling Twitch might, I know I've said this before, but they might actually be getting in trouble. Because they allow people to foment violence on it. I'm not going to say the names of the streams because I don't want to get those streamers more attention, but yeah, I've seen the footage and there's some people on there that, you know, someone like me would have been banned for less. So keep that in mind. Twitch in the coming months will be under a lot of fire. But still, thank you everybody for being here. Come on. I need to put you down. Oh, don't I know it. Well, just in light of recent events in the world, they've all drawn a lot more attention to themselves now. And you know what? If they get rid of them, cool. If they don't, well, I'll make up my mind then. Hey, Davos. Nice. Okay. I'm trying to hold it by the axle stubs, so... Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy. I don't know, I always liked Ed, Ed, and Eddie a little more than Ren and Stimpy. Yeah, Ed, Ed, and Eddie was well after Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy was more of a early to mid 90s thing, but you could still find it. It got taken off the air because of its creators' questionable decisions, amongst other things, and the content was found to not really be for kids. There's entire YouTube rabbit holes about Ren and Stimpy if you want to go look into that. I'm not going to get too deep into it here. But yeah, if you want to look into Nicktoons and Ren and Stimpy, whoo, be ready. Maybe have a few drinks beforehand. That's not good. Whatever. I'm trying not to spray too hard around the tape because I don't want paint getting blown under it. I did my best to mask it, but lately I've just been having trouble masking things. Ah! Okay. Can you give me context at least? What were those videotapes that were doing the rounds in the late 80s, early 90s where like it was all like horrific car crashes and people dying? What was the name of those tapes? They had a specific name to them. Damn it. Faces of Death. I remember how controversial those used to be in high school, right? Now look at YouTube. Hey, Brush Guy, how you doing? Ah, gotcha. Actually, before I clean this airbrush out, I should give the main. Making sure that I didn't miss anything. That's good. Yeah, there's been a lot of career changing going on lately. I hope I didn't start that trend, but, you know. I know I needed to do what I did back then. May have over-thinned this paint a little bit. I'm seeing some weirdness. It'll level out once I clear coat it, though. Well, have you been here since I decided that I'm getting a Humvee next year? So slowly saving up. And I've got somebody who's buying a few of my models off me too. So, but until then, I'm going to build a Humvee model every month until we get the real one. Starting with this one. No, real military Humvee. No, that oversized radio-controlled car shouldn't even be wearing the name. So I know I swore off mission models. Unfortunately, the shop I usually go to was out of NATO black, and I'm almost out of NATO black. So what I'm gonna do is start laying in this, then come back with the Tamiya one to kind of fade it. So I'm gonna start using this on the tires to get an idea how it flows and what I gotta do to thin it. And then once that's done, we'll start putting it on the model. Get this out of the way. Sometimes mission models works okay, sometimes it's a complete clusterfuck. Let's find out which one it is on this one. Get an okay tight line with it. And it seems like it dries a shade darker as well. The crew for the Centauro finally arrived. It's an old Verlinden set, but I should be able to make it work. What? I ain't that old. Maybe I am that crusty, though. Oh, clusterfuck, yeah. It's a clusterfuck, sir. It's funny that the Army did not want to give the studio assistance in making the film, so they just changed it to a Marine unit, even though the events depicted in the film were actually done by an Army unit. Marbles I'm painting. I don't have time to stop and pet you just yet. You okay, buddy? Meow. Heartbreak Ridge was a good film, though. Other people hate it. I thought it was interesting. And a lot of people like to make noise, or at least when it came out, a lot of people made noise, I should say, about how Gunny Highway was a Medal of Honor recipient. And that decorum dictates that officers and everybody else should be saluting him, which is technically correct. But given the character we're shown, I can also understand that he didn't want that kind of attention drawn on him. Right? That's why the character himself never made a big deal out of it like others would. That's my 2 cents on that. Might have to go wash my hands real quick before we continue on after this. After the tires. I think these are drying well enough. And before you ask, why don't I just get gloves? You know how quickly I'd be going through goddamn gloves? Between this and my printing, I already go through them quickly enough. Hey, model student, how you doing? We were just talking about Heartbreak Ridge. I do know these tires will most likely have to be sealed because I was doing some testing last night, just comparing it to the Tamiya one, and I noticed that the paint did slightly reactivate when brushed with a clear coat. It's Mission Models NATO Black. Wait a minute. We're missing one. There it is. The spare. Watch how you're phrasing that stuff, okay? Alright, where's the destructions? Okay. I need a real picture for a second. Yeah, you just gotta wonder what's more interesting, me or some overpaid millionaires chasing a leather bag of hot air. Okay. Who just followed? Nlinfa, thank you for the follow. Keep in mind, if you're going to post a follow me on Discord kind of thing, please don't. We don't do that. It's been happening all too often on Kick lately. I guess we'll find out in 6 minutes. Oh, so did mine, model student. They're old Verlinden figures, though. It's pretty easy to tell what ones go where and parts and stuff. I'll probably get to them on Friday. We'll kind of do... I mean, should we start working on this month's Humvees, you know, now, or should we wait? Give a choice for you guys for the October Humvee. Because I've got the Academy 998 cargo on the way. Or the 1151. I've been sitting on the 1151 for a bit. But given how much more there's going on with it, it's almost like, do I save that for the grand finale? Like, when mine's on the way to me, you'll know because I build the 1151, the big one. I'm out of paint. Yeah, the idle area instructions aren't too far off. So if you just wanted to use those as your basis, you're good to go. I'm just basing mine on a real picture at the moment because I didn't like what they were showing on the front plate. Well, at auction I'm going to be going for a variation on the 998. Mainly because they are more likely to come with doors. And the last auction I watched, the stripped down 1151s were going for 16 grand. Where I could get a cargo 998 for 3 to 5, depending on which auction I hit and how lucky I get. At least that's the mindset. Can you link me to the one in Hurt Locker? I haven't seen that movie in forever. They were originally made with soft top in mind. The up-armored variants are newer in that the first time I recall seeing up-armored Humvees was documentation on Bosnia, and it's where the 1114 came into play with the turbo diesel. The original ones were either soft top or the angle back. Yeah, except for the part where he goes AWOL. Outside the gate without permission. I've got 4 built right now, and I could bring them to the table and show you the differences. So you got the M976, which is essentially like the M1025, just it's armed with a tow missile launcher instead of a M2 Browning. And the differentiation between the 10 series and the 9 series is essentially there's a winch on the front. See, that's just a 1027 with the flat doors on it and a mock-up turret. It looks right, but it's not 100%. There were doors like that, but they're much older than what we're seeing. And I couldn't make that anyway. I could buy one with a top like that. Basically, they're selling the 1151 stripped down with no turret and no doors. So you got a big hole in the roof, no armor, and no doors. And I saw two of them go for 16,000 last week on auction. Give me 1 second. I'll get back to that. Yeah, a stripped down 1151. Sold for 16,000. Well, that's what I'm getting at. They're probably okay overall, but given what those ones were made to do, they will most likely give you more mechanical issues than the soft top ones. Because even though they put a turbo diesel in it, the thing wasn't really designed to have that much weight on it. But that's also why I want to save up into the 8 to 10 grand area if possible. I can dip my toe in and try a couple auctions when I'm at 6 and see if I can get one of the 3 or 4K ones, because I could easily have it shipped to me from California for $1,200 if I win it. But what we'd run into is if I can't get it, I would need to bid higher. And I've seen, fully decked out, all their doors and roof and everything go for 5 to 7, depending. And you got to remember, these are all at auction. I'm not just going up saying, I want that one, I buy. No, I'm having to fight other people at auction. Not like fist fight, but it's like eBay. You know? And there are people there waiting to snipe you at the last minute. I watched it happen. I've just been watching the auctions to see what the trends are. Like, okay, the ones that really get a lot of heat are the ones that happen at about 10 a.m. my time, because that's lunchtime on the East Coast. And I bet you $5 you got a lot of people on the East Coast buying these for their own little four-wheel drive adventure purposes. And then after that it cools off. And that's when you start seeing them sell for 4 to 6 grand, give or take. Yeah. So I'm not too worried about it. I just want to be sure I have enough to get a fair chance at getting one. That's all. But that's why I'm watching the auctions now. So by next year, when I go to finally do it, I can see, hey, there's been a cooling trend in the auctions, so I might have a better chance. Everybody who's wanted one thus far has one. Right? So I could be like, okay, now's the time. If I go like 2 weeks straight without seeing a lot of action, then I basically. And what do you guys think of the text-to-speech that I turned on? Okay, better without it. I figure it lets people across the streams who can't read chat as easily on the small window kind of know what other people are saying. Or is the music too loud for you to hear it well? Are you not hearing it, Aries? Knew that was going to happen. Okay, before I get too far, I need to... Okay. Which one is going on which side? Okay, so 4 is on this side. Okay, this is going to take a sec. I don't know if it shows up in the camera, but the decals... Are these fucking things backwards? Hold on. No, this one isn't. Okay. Are printed in green and black. So I need to find out where it's going to sit and then get the camo pattern planned out around it. Where is my watercolor pencil? There it is. And I like to use watercolor pencils for it because it kind of the paint will melt it and it'll just blend in with the paint, or you can wipe it off. So, but this one is for this side. not seeing a pattern like that for the decal. I mean, I'm seeing a black pattern, but not like what's being shown. And this one isn't going very well with it either. So the green needs to go there. There. So in here needs to be black, which doesn't make sense to the pattern that I'm being shown. Because the green needs to show up against the black, basically. Okay. Which runs counter to the rest of the scheme, but we'll live with it. I'll make it work. It was something they did back in the earlier days of this scheme. But then they realized they could just paint it with straight, pure black over it and it would show up, because the NATO black is a charcoal color. It's not like a deep, rich black color. But now I've got to figure out how to get the rest of the black camo around it. I'll just break it up. Like that. Because the pattern in the instructions was actually quite accurate. Does a little weird wiggly like that. Follow, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. And I did add a gas cap because all that was here was like a molded in thing. And it didn't really look that great. And all the pictures showed like a very distinct raised cap, like you would expect. So I just cut a slice of styrene rod about the right size and glued it in place. Welcome back, Major Havoc. Hope everybody's doing okay and is having a good weekend. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna use this to consolidate up into here. Kind of restore the pattern a little bit. We'll handle that side when we get to that side of the tank. While we're up here, just trying to get everything I can see. Yeah. We'll be able to get that figured out better once we, wow, my brain just stopped. Once we get to the decal phase, we'll be able to get that positioned a bit more tightly. Okay, that follows. One thing I may make out of some styrene sheet is just some bases for the placards. Every picture I've seen shows them mounted onto a hard diamond-shaped base, which should be. Just because of the way they work, you open and close them for the different types of cargo. So far, this particular bottle of mission models is spraying okay. Typically, they give me grief. Alright. Okay, I'm able to follow most of this one's pattern. And I just did this shit backwards. Okay. So this has to come through here, this through here. Oh, I got it right. This has to remain green right in here. Marbles. Yeah, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. I didn't get stupid with it. Not too stupid, anyway. And I may have just got stupid with it. I didn't finish this while I was up here. Yeah. I got stupid. So let me clean this out. Because this comes like that, and then attaches. And goes like that, and then follows down to here. Oh, I might be able to salvage it. Maybe a little bit of green out of the bottle in a minute, but... Because, yeah, there's two that have to tie together right here. Yeah, if I cover this with the brown when I come out, it'll be alright. Okay. Let me finish filling this in, and then I'll be able to read the negative space again. And then this one is like that. I'm probably going to have to get the green out to clean up some stuff anyway, but we'll see. No worries. We're still painting. Alright. I think we are pretty much there. Just want to check a couple things. I was right. I don't care how exact the pattern is, because there's going to be a big-ass Michelin tire in the way. But there is something back here, because the fender's got black on it. Okay. Okay. Just one more look to make sure I'm not missing anything. We'll clean the airbrush out. We'll spray the NATO brown next. And then we'll go back and tighten things up with the green, where I messed up on these two decals a little bit. Not by a lot, just teeny tiny little cleanups. And then once that's done, I'm going to take my stretch break because we're at 1:17 right now. That out. NATO brown. Now, one picture I've got shows one of these with a desert sand front tire ring on the rim. That's half tempting, just to differentiate it a bit. I don't know. This vehicle's also not very dirty, so I don't know if I would be keeping it too clean. I mean, I've seen pictures of these things trapped up to their frames in mud. A little more shaking. we go. Alright. I am happy though, the airbrush is performing well today. Ha ha. I wonder. You know what, I'm gonna keep this more in line with what's supposed to be here, because the green would show up over the brown too. Okay, this batch of NATO browns wanting to be a complete pain in my ass. Spraying very inconsistently. It'll smooth out when I get to the clear coat and flat coat phase. This might be one of my 20-year-old bottles of paint, to be honest. Oh yeah, basically the pattern's almost 50-50 green and black, and then the brown makes up like maybe a third total. It's like that on almost every NATO vehicle, from the Leopard to the Abrams to the Humvee. To be honest, I'm following half instructions, half real pictures. Ah! That's just Ares letting us know he's still alive. The nap trap has not gotten him. Hey, Jeffs. Yeah, sorry I shut down the stream right as you came in the other day. Like, literally, as soon as you posted, I had already hit close stream. And all I could think was, well, there's that. I could buy a Humvee for the cost of one tire for this thing. I'm not made of bottomless money like a lot of other people in this state seem to be. Yeah, I'm not heavy D. No, heavy D is the bearded diesel guy. Well, yeah, that's. Sorry for being vague, but yeah, he's got one of these. I think he's got an Oshkosh M978. Does a lot of recovery stuff, things like that. He helped out that Brett guy with the ghost town in Sierra Gordo or wherever that is. No worries, Alex. You take it easy. Sounds like you had a long weekend anyway. Yes and no. But to put it simply, if you lived here, you'd see that guys like him are dime a dozen. The attitude, the look, what they claim to do. You can't shake a tree without 20 of them falling out of it, put it that way. Okay, there's that. I just have to get the back end. Yep. Oh, I'm not kidding. And I'm not saying Heavy D is rude by this comment, but 9 times out of 10, they all got those polarized rainbow mirror sunglasses, wearing a hat backwards. They got a long beard, shaved head, and the one thing that they never do, which really gets on people's craws, they don't turn their damn trucks off when they go inside, so they wind up just shitting diesel fumes all over the parking lot. And then they act like you're the problem when you say, hey, can you turn that crap off? It's getting sucked into the door here. So yeah, when I see guys like that, I generally tend to react strongly because, to me, most of the time they're rude. They're rude people. Yeah. I mean, we have the word stereotype for a reason, and they fit the one. It's not even the operator look, because they're not decked out in military anything. They've just got a long beard, a shaved head, and either red or blue mirrored Oakleys. And they wear their hat backwards, and they wonder why they can't see, so they shade their eyes with their hand. Oh, and they're all below 5'8". And on the other end of that spectrum, the other half looks like whistling diesel clones. Like, you would literally think that they are related by looking at them. And that's not to disparage the Heavy D or Whistling Diesel himself. More the people that try and copy them or imitate them or think they're like them, you know? And just in my experience, most of them have bad attitudes and little regard for those around them. Dragon Man? Huh? I'm missing context here. Educate the pleb on what you mean. I still have no idea who you're talking about, though. Educate the idiot here. Oh. See, that's not what I'm going to turn into, though, is the vehicle collector. I just want the one that I can make look right. Now, the only time I call my audience members idiots is in jest. I'm not going to be that guy who disparages his audience. I thought you meant dragon as in the stupid security guard from Skinwalker Ranch who wears black in the desert and actually goes by the name Dragon. Roll over. Okay, and then fix this a little bit since I made that too large. There we go. That's better. Let me take my stretchy break. After I clean this out. So once I gloss this, should I work on the camo netting on the Centauro? And maybe putting the crew together, getting it sitting right? Or should I start working on the 1151? But like the song says, model student, I'm the American idiot. Gonna put up the pause screen and then I will be back in a few minutes. Want to move around, get a drink, maybe some snacks. So alright, I'll be right back.
The model student said thumbs up emoji. model student said rolling on the floor laughing emoji, rolling on the floor laughing emoji, rolling on the floor laughing emoji. RS Studios just subscribed at Tier 1 for 3 months.
Aries Studios, thank you for the resub on Kick for 3 months. Ooh. We're going to have some extra toasty Cheez-Its for a quick little snack. Then I'll start gloss coating everything. Let's see here real quick. Gonna make some lippy smacky noises. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think you want me making extra loud lippy smacky noises into the microphone. You know, the kind of audience that would draw, hey, if it pays, you know? And Major Havoc read my mind. So I'm going to try the Createx Clear over the mission models and see if that helps to seal it, keeps it from coming back up when I do decal stuff. He needs about 15 of them Dr. Peppers. Yeah, the main fear I have here, since I'm using a lot of the acrylic-based washes, is that if I agitate the Mission Models paint too much without a decent clear coat over it, the washes could wind up stripping the paint off in a negative way. So I'm going to try the Createx Clear this time, see if it provides a more stable barrier. So when we get to that step, I won't have to worry. Lower chassis, not too worried about. It blends the tones together. And it puts the paint back to its wet depth look, not how it looks dry. Especially with Tamiya, it can tend to go chalky when you thin it. And a good clear coat before you do decals or even weathering. Even clear flat will do it. Keep in mind the Createx comes out of the bottle pretty thick. So I mix it with a little bit of Windex. Well, I use Windex to thin my acrylics. Other people, they'll say otherwise and do otherwise, but I've been doing it for over 20 years now and it works fine. For me, anyway. It will be getting a flat coat, so I'm not worried about a completely uniform show car shine. It's more about sealing the paint and making sure there's a good layer of clear on it. Do it! Get back to your bench! Do it! I have those times as well. And if there's a model builder, figure painter, drawing person, artist, anything out there that tells you otherwise, they're lying. Didn't they already do that? They called it the skunk. It was half black, half white. Oh, that was the test one they had out at Edwards. That's right. The last plane I built is the 32nd scale Testers F-117. It's sitting on a shelf behind me. Arnie, what are you doing down there, boy? Be careful. Well, the funny thing is, the model actually came out right after the airframe was declassified on the news. And it was based on pictures that they took from public roads in and around the area of the base. So they just managed to sit out there and get it flying. And they got it surprisingly correct, given the information at hand at the time. Got an itch on my ankle. Oh, the Createx stuff? You gotta thin it a little bit. It comes out really gloopy. But once you thin it a hair, it does spray really nice. Yep. Ammoniated window cleaner. Like, I use the generic one, but it's cheaper than their specialized thinner, and you can get it almost anywhere. So while this dries, what should we do? Because it's going to be a bit. I'm not using my usual floor polish clear. Because we're 2 hours in, but this is one of my normal streaming days. I don't really feel like cutting out that early. Let's get some music more going. What was the name of that other one that I got? Sorry, I got like 20 windows open here. Huh? So do I start working on the next Humvee? Or would that put it outside the Humvee in a month? Or is it okay as long as I finish it sometime in October? I can at least start gluing it together. Try cleaning out the airbrush a little bit. Okay, how's this drying? But I also have the clear flat by them as well. That's really good stuff. Hit the camera. Yeah, screw it. Let's work on the Humvee. Been sitting on this model longer than I've had the Centauro. Move this aside. We'll clean up the bench real quick too. Oh, the flat and the clear? Or the flat and the gloss? So we're just cleaning some desk space off. How do I grab this? So next full stream day will be Friday after today. And I don't know when after that, because the schedule's not out yet. But yeah, this was dried Tamiya paint. And the mission models. Hi, Marmar. Let's see what we're getting into here. So here's the Marine soldier from the LAV crew. And I'll be using this with this Humvee, I think. I don't like the driver figure they supply, so I'm going to be looking for another one. I might have one already. Let me see. One piece lower tub, very nice. A2 frame. Extra mirrors to go on my other 998 when it comes in. Different weapons. Looks like we got a Mark 19 and an M2 Browning. But yeah, here's the waist for the driver figure, and it looks like he's trying to hop out of the vehicle. It's a really awkward pose. I don't like it. Some different photo etch parts for things. Typical Academy clear pieces, they're in good order. So first, let's do this. Maybe I could make that guy into a driver. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what hits me as I'm building it. Sprue C. But here's the up armored roof. So all the ones they sell at GovPlanet have had this layer of armor stripped and this layer here. So you're still getting the back here, you're still getting the basic shape here, no turret ring. The outer armored layer of the windows are stripped, so there's no glass. And people are paying $16K for those. That's... to me, that's a joke. Watch, I get one for $3 grand. The fuck? Extended front headlight assembly. I mean, if it runs, I'll bid on it for giggles, especially if it's the green camo. I don't expect to win it, though. Yeah, we'll see how many leftover pieces there are, because I want to do some updates to the cargo version that I've got on the way, too. It'll be a simpler, quicker build than this. Nippers. Where are my nippers? They're right here. No, wait. Not nipples. Nippers. There they are. I don't know if I have the music too quiet or not. So 14, 6, 28, and 29. There's the brake calipers. Polycaps, where'd you go? Now I know I didn't lose them. Actually, with what I plan on doing, the hell was that? Oh, this marble's being weird, I think. I'm not going to need the polycaps because I'm not going to be using the stock hubs. I'll show you why. These aren't a bad attempt, right? But they're just glue together wheel halves. And as such, I mean, you have decent definition for your tires. I just don't like it. The guy who did the files for the other two sets that I've used also does a set for this, for the specific tire. So, next week I'll probably get those files and get printing on that. So I'll save one of these tires. Actually, let me see if it comes with the spare tire or not. Give me 1 second. Yeah, the Goodyear MTRs that he does are much better. I'll send you a link. I just need to save one of these for measuring purposes. So, there. And for the 998, I believe he does another set of standard Wranglers. He does. Yep. All right. So yeah, won't worry about polycaps because we're not going to be using them. Helps if I glue it on the right side. We're supposed to be getting some thunderstorms through this afternoon, so I hope we actually get some action on that, because I am tired of these drizzle piss storms we've been getting that don't do anything. So here you can get a good example of the offset hubs that I've been talking about in past streams. You see how the CV axle comes out here, but your tire would be here. There's actually a gear drive in here. But to get this out, on the real thing, there's a cap you remove here, singular bolt there, and then there's 3 pairs of bolts around the brake rotor. You undo those. I don't know if Major Havoc's still here, but you undo those 6 bolts, pop that out after you pop this one out, and the thing just comes right out. So easy. Oh, he's still here. Cool. Oh, color me wrong. Tell me to shut up. Just making sure I've got this the right way around before I go gluing it. There, spring mount, shock, diff facing that way. Yep. Probably not, Balo, but anyway. Boop, and boop. Because that's like the 3rd iteration of Balo that we've seen. asking for a Discord thing. Okay. Okay, there's one end done. Well, it could be if you don't care about being perfect with it. I remember when I was a kid, before I started building them myself, my dad would just throw together whatever in a day or two. I was happy as a clam. I remember we lived in a place in Florida. It was temporary because we were getting our own house built because we'd moved down from New Jersey. And I came in and he'd built a little P-40 Warhawk for me. No decal, or no paint, just decals. And you probably don't have to worry about seams either. You just really just you bash it together, you know? Just make sure the glue is dry and the paint's dry before you give it to them. I got you. I still don't think he's going to care about seams, though. Oh, what was the quote? I wrote it down. And it applies to what we've been talking about on our stream. I'll be right back. I wrote it down. It's in my wallet. I'll be right back. I'm back, and I think this speaks to what we've been talking about on how, people are always saying, where are the young guys getting into the hobby, right? How come we're not getting any more young guys? And I've tried putting into words, but then I ran across this quote. If a luxury or hobby ceases to be convenient, it stops being marketable. And that almost hits the nail on the head for what I've been trying to describe on how you see reviewers and others, saying, you need this, you need that. I can build the kit with what it's got. I don't need to print the tires, but I'm going to. To me, that's just convenience of what I need, what I want to do. But with all the stuff that younger people are being told they need to do in the hobby, that removes the convenience of it, which means they don't want to spend the money on it, which means it's no longer marketable. It is, because it's convenient. You don't need anything except a set of nippers. Yeah. Because they're not convenient. The point of a hobby is that it's cheap, that it's affordable. And that quote encapsulates what I was trying to say. People aren't going to do it if they can't afford it. Yeah. And you get people out there complaining, oh, these master grades and perfect grades are so expensive. But a beginning modeler is not looking at the master grade or the perfect grade. I mean, they are, but more along the lines of, ooh, one day I want to build that. But what are they going to do to work up towards that? They're going to buy the HGs. They're going to buy the HGs. And they're not going to paint them. They're not going to seam fill. They're just going to build them and love the hell out of them. because that's convenient. As they get older, they can get more stuff for it. But yeah, there's no. Allie, I really need the instructions. You're doing this again. Yeah, and master grades are popping 40 to 60 depending on where you get them and how much there is to them. And depending if they're the really bougie type, they're even up to $100. Okay. But yeah, in terms of like armor and aircraft modeling, where is your starter level stuff? I know Airfix makes some. You know the last time I saw an Airfix kit locally available? Hobby Lobby carried them for a little while, but not anymore. Haven't seen a single Airfix kit at Hobby Lobby in over a year. That convenience isn't there anymore. Yeah, that's like, one, it's a perfect grade, and two, it's a high new. But that's what I'm getting at. In a lot of aspects of the hobby, a beginning modeler who wants to get into aircraft or armor, you know, they see Night Shift, they see all these other guys doing it, and all the extra stuff they're doing, and like, if I have to do this, why do I want to do this hobby? It's not convenient for them, you know? So maybe I will do the, aside from some parts I'm going to scavenge from this kit that are leftovers, I think I'll do the 998 straight out of the box. And just say, here is your beginner level kit. Because that's what it is. It really is. I almost got the Revell one, except the Revell one didn't come with the top for the cargo compartment. And it's a rebox of the ICM kit. And I almost thought it had a full engine. See? But it's also one of the things for the youth not doing hobbies either, because they're blowing their money on things with no reward. And I'm not saying gaming's not a hobby, but once the power goes out, you know, once you turn off that Switch, once you turn off that Xbox, once you turn off that PlayStation, what do you have to show for it? It's all digital. It's all intangible. How's that? And I know my stream's not for kids, but honestly, you shouldn't be watching my shit unless you're 13 or over anyway, and that's usually when most people want to start building models, is about that age. But I'm not going to change it for that, because I don't need, you know, I don't need the same restrictions as fucking Cocomelon and shit on here. I mean, I am noticing that more younger kids are trying to get into the hobby. Mm-hmm. That too. Like, I'm waiting for the day they turn off the Generation Zero servers. Then I'll be like, well, what do I do with all the money I just spent on this game? Because I've played that game for a long time. I'd say dopamine and just the way that we've garnered more instant gratification. But that's what I got to give games like DayZ their fair credit though. Even after the studio that owns the Arma series engine shuts down, DayZ will continue to be played until it literally dies a natural death because it just wears out. But there's still so many people playing it, it's ridiculous. And there's so many private servers and just everything else. The game is literally supporting itself now. But yeah, in this, I've said it again and again. And if somebody wants to call me out, fair game. But I think we need to start calling out certain reviewers and certain people that I don't want to say speak negatively about the hobby, but the next time I see somebody with an online review say, you need these, and these to really make the kit shine, I might just say, you're not helping people want to buy the kit then, or people who might be interested in it want to buy it, because you're showing us that it's not worth building if you say that, when it probably builds just fine. There's opinion, then there's, yeah, Gundam does. Games Workshop is still heavily gatekeeping a lot of stuff. I know there's things like one-page rules and other games that are really beginning to gain on Games Workshop now, and Bandai might be the key to fixing that. It helps, but it's not necessary. And I'm not even talking about the ammo MiG stuff. Like, yeah, you saw me talk about how I'm going to replace these tires with printed ones. Because I want to. If I were to review this kit, let's say I was reviewing this kit for something like Fine Scale Modeler or Missing Links, I wouldn't even mention that. Because the tires do look okay, right? They got the sidewall detail, they got really good tread detail. They look okay. That too. There's certain aspects I don't like about it that I know the printed ones can recreate better, but these are actually quite adequate and look fine. So I wouldn't even mention that. I wouldn't even bring up the aftermarket. Knowing what I know about these vehicles and the research I've done in terms of wanting to own one and just everything I've seen, I'd have to say this kit is actually probably better than the Tamiya one. Yeah, honestly, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them out of the box. C7, C8. But that's what I'm saying is I've seen professional reviewers say, "Oh, that link. If you do wind up getting a 978 or even a 977, the cargo version, what are you doing, Little Miss Mischief?" That's the same guy who does the LAV and the I'm just gonna say all stream. How's that? Yeah, he did the LAV and the Oshkosh tires. But I've seen too many reviewers say things like, "You'll need to get resin wheels to make it look good." Yeah, the Italy kit's been re-released recently with a with tan box art, and it looks like they're also reboxing. I don't want to say they're reboxing, but they retooled their Humvee kits, so Italy's Humvee is now as good as the early Academy ones. They've retooled it so they have rubber tires with correct tread and separate rims, instead of the shitty ass tires that came in the Italy kits before. Pretty girl. If it's the trumpeter one with the standard earlier tires, they're perfectly adequate out of the box. If it's the one that's got the wider Michelin tires, you're going to want to print them because they're too wide. And that's not being picky, they are physically too wide. What the hell? Okay. I don't know, one of these... Should I stream the Hy-Vee one of these days? Just get that master grade out and start building it? Hi, girl. Hi. She doesn't want me working on this. Are we entering the catus interruptus phase of the project? What do you think you're doing? You slept next to me and I pet you all night. Can I please just work on a model without you doing this? Hmm? Well, right now I'm not very busy because of this. Allie, come on. Come on. Good girl. Just type a bunch of L's and then hit enter. See what it does. Because I know some would go... this is the front diff. Now I have the urge to watch more, if the Emperor had a text-to-speech device. I think Alpha Busa left it up, just Games Workshop. Actually, didn't he stop just to do it preemptively before Games Workshop gave him a cease and desist? I forget. Or did he just... Did he stop and then they wound up sending him on anyway? They really are. Okay, I need clips. I need clothespins. Just one in the middle to keep it all in place. There we go. So right now, the Humvees I've built this year already are a 4-door 998 soft top, a Avenger, a 966 tow missile launcher, and a prototype that never saw production. Or at least the roof for the prototype never saw production. The actual vehicle itself is based on a standard chassis. What did the top on it look like? Sorry, I'm trying to get the picture. Was it that one? Or... this may take a minute. Five hours later. This is also the Italeri kit, by the way. I just added some resin wheels to it. But now that I've found an online source for the files, I don't need to buy them anymore. And more companies are selling them with the proper tires. Fingy's getting tired. Okay, so that's the prototype that never actually went into production. I've got like 5 pictures of the real thing. And it had the packs and stuff on it like that. This is the Academy one, but Italeri made one just like it, and the parts breakdown's the same too. Okay. That, I'm trying to waste time so these can dry. C30. Okay, just one kitty cat down here now. Flip you back over. Or not. I had it the right way the first time. Okay. Yeah. Okay, the fuel tank traps itself. Got it. But an interesting thing about the kit that I've got coming is until Tamiya released their Humvees in 2003. I want to say 2003 is when I first saw it anyway. This one was one of the most correct ones on the market that you could get. Not this one came out well after, but the one that I've got on the way. And I had actually built the Tamiya ones long ago when they first came out. And for me, they were typical Tamiya. Boring. And the wheels dry rotted. Like the rubber tires actually just dry rotted. Because they were sitting on my shelf, and then one day I go up to move one, and I pick it up, and I notice that 32, okay. The wheel was flat. Like the tire was flat. And it had hopped off its rim and everything, so I'm like, I mean, do we have some Indian in the cupboard shit going on here, and they're fighting at night, or is this just crappy rubber that Tamiya is using? Turns out it's just crappy rubber. Well, usually the trumpeter tires are made more of a little bit of vinyl. So what you have to do with those is be sure the rim is painted more where the rubber meets it, because the rubber they use will eat styrene after a while. But the Tamiya ones, it actually started decomposing. Like they were cracked and flattened and everything. I'm like, this is not right. And even $2003, it wasn't a cheap kit. Hi, Allie. Yeah. It was called the Desert Patrol Humvee, but it never entered service. You're back, Allie. I see it. Yes, I know. You're here. Thank you. I mean, it's not a terrible model. And the subject itself did physically exist. But each month I just want to do a different version. So the ones I still have left that I can get from the available kits. Oh, they're cheap as chips on eBay right now. They're like 25 bucks. But the one I want to get next, I've got a few options. So I'll show you which one I've got on the way now. Oh, looks like he's got another one. So this is the one I've got on the way to me now. Where are you? And then I've got the Stinger Hummer, which is another, not prototype, but it's based on like a South American one where they put a tower in the back with a quad set of Stinger missiles. There's the ambulance version. I could do a cheap Academy one again and get the IDF upgrade kit for it. Yeah. So there's three others that I could get. So with what I've got saved on my eBay list, we're good until January for different subjects. Oh, and the Bushmaster, so 4. We're good till February. In terms of subject, just it's all up to which you guys want to see next. Well, it also comes with the full cover for the rear, not just the open bed. I don't like how this fit is showing itself, but I'll live with it. Alley girl, what are you doing, huh? Oh, Aries went bye-bye. Bye, Aries. Bye. But they're inexpensive enough that they won't break the bank while I'm trying to save, too. The hell? Am I getting that in there right? Yeah, okay. I see how it goes now. Kind of. Yeah, that's the biggest thing a lot of people are facing, especially with all the so-called tariff stuff and everything going on. I only buy half that in terms of the people causing the trouble, though. I see a lot of it as people using it as an excuse. That's why I just shop carefully. Love you, girl. But I need you to move. I'm gonna keep booping your snoot until you get annoyed and move. Send me a link. Not that I'm gonna buy it, I just want to see what you're talking about. I'd love to get the Kotobukiya Anubis kit from Zone of the Enders. I've already got Dolores. You are really not helping things right now, Cat. Scruffy girl. Yeah, I'm annoying you until you get down. I'm petting your paw. I'm petting your paw. I'm petting your poop shovels. Come on. Hey. 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 Yeah, that's not a reason to play. Okay, I'm gonna have to get you down, girl. I need space. Come here. Oh, I'm so sorry, girl. I know, you just want to be up here with me. Yeah. How's my little tater, huh? Come on, Lloyd Loaf. We're almost done assembling the undercarriage. You gotta get through the tedious part before you can get the good stuff. Is it Gundam? Is it Armored Core? You're speaking French in this regard, and I am not from Quebec. Oh, okay. I have built a Gundam knockoff before. It was a master grade Death Scythe. but it was it was one they never made a model of, a kit of.
The model student said with gun confident.
It was a master grade that Bandai never made a kit of, but another company did. It was the TV version of the Death Scythe Custom. I think I've got it put away in one of the lower parts of my cases behind me right now. C16. Ooh, excuse me. Well, they did the MG of the Endless Waltz version, but they never did an MG of the TV version. If I'm remembering correctly. At least not the full TV custom version, where it had the more tattered looking wings and everything. Which sprue is this? It's the E sprue. It is. Same thing with Macross. It's got this showy, almost kid-friendly exterior, but when you really look at what's going on in it, it is not that. I don't know about that. If you go back and watch the original series, the stuff that was done outside of Studio New was pretty horrendous. Because there was a lot of time crunches on that series. After that, it got a lot better. And aside from Macross 7 just being really hard to watch because it's 52 episodes long, um, it was okay. It was good. Macross Plus, Frontier, shining moments. Delta was solid. You know, a lot of people get on Delta because they're like, oh, it's just like Macross 7 again. Not really, and it's a lot more, like you said, grungy, dirty. And there's a hint in Macross Delta that they might be bringing the original characters back for a bit. Are we talking the original 80s Appleseed with all the swearing, or are we talking the new CGI one? Because the original 80s one, you had to be there to experience it, you know? That and Lily Cat, Ninja Scroll, Dark City, all the stuff that came out of that time. Kids these days think anime's cool because it's got big boobies. Dude, back in my day we had spider vaginas with teeth. Come on. What a conversation to come back to. No, I'm not talking about Orotsuka Doji, even though that did the rounds in the 90s as well. I'm talking about Dark City. It didn't really have as much of the tentacle stuff as you would think. Or not Dark City, Wicked City. Dark City was a live action film. Excuse me. Yeah, that's going to be a hard one to top. Kids these days don't know what they're missing with their One Piece and their My Hero Academia. Maybe that's why I like Dandadan. It goes kind of back to those kind of roots. Almost Tenchi like. Oh, good. They made the photo etch part here optional, because I'm not using it. Major Havoc, you should know better. You never know what you're going to come back to on this channel. Back in the... Show him scanners next. One of the guy's head pops. Let him know where the meme came from. Excuse me again. Oh my god. I might have to stop for lunch anyway soon. Yep. That and Starship Troopers are the two movies that everybody knows him for. But they always forget that he was on Sequest DSV. Did I just bring back some 90s trauma for people by mentioning Sequest? Like, most people didn't even know that Megatron voiced that stupid dolphin. Oh, yeah. That movie with Molly Ringwald. That's right. The Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. Gotta admit that movie was great 80s cheese, though. I remember when that came out, it's almost like HBO had it on repeat for a year straight. Like, you could turn on HBO at any time and you would find yourself somewhere in the middle of that movie. Excuse me. Now, the Wraith. Many kids growing up in the 80s realized their manhood when they saw that film. And I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. And let's face it, the Wraith was the sci-fi version of Christine, except that it was the guy rebuilding himself and not the car. Okay, so here's another interesting bit of film trivia. So you know the girl that kissed Elliot in E.T., right? In the classroom? Is also the girl that is in the car scene in the '88 remake of The Blob, and is also the girl that's the cake popper on Under Siege. Unfortunately, she quit. I think she quit acting after a while, after Baywatch, just because of the stupid demands Hollywood was putting on her. Which is understandable after Baywatch, let's be honest. The thing is, if you watch Baywatch, then watch Under Siege, they may have forced her to get those. Because I think after she did Under Siege, she quit Baywatch and just stopped altogether. Who didn't? If she'd had better agents, she probably could have had a better career than Cindy Crawford. Either I have the wrong tree. Yes, I do. Okay. Trying to remember who that is. The name sounds familiar. I can't put a name to the face. Victoria's Secret, wasn't it? Three words for you. Swedish bikini team. Get a little more music going. We'll probably be wrapping up soon, though. This is getting to the point where I gotta let it dry. I'll probably take care of the decals and small details like the headlights and the marker lights off stream, and get the fuel truck flat coated and ready for weathering on Friday. Because that stuff all takes extra time. What, on Elka? But let's do a test fit and see how all this is going to do. Looks like this will do all right. I think we've got parts to glue here. Yeah, you got to be more specific than that. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Alrighty, so yeah, Friday, when we get back to this, if we get back to this on Friday, Friday should be fuel truck weathering, because, yeah, the decals, there's not a lot of them. I'll get them taken care of off stream. Flat coat, or actually oil wash flat coat lights, and then it'll be ready for weathering and everything. Yeah, we got an entire chassis put together, got the fuel truck painted, got it clear coated. So yeah, today was actually very productive. We got one sub on Kick from Airy Studios, so thank you again for that. Yeah, on YouTube, all I can ask is that you like, comment, and share. Subscribe too if you haven't. On Kick or Twitch, if you want to sub or donate, you can. There's links there. Every little helps, and it goes towards the channel or future ventures. So, thank you everybody for watching. I'm going to call it a stream and enjoy the rest of my singular day off. So, everybody, take it easy and